Hello, friends. Welcome back. It is July 5th, and I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are having a great day. I want to make this video to highlight the scratch I got on my nose. And no, that's not exactly why I'm making this video, but yesterday during the 4th of July, one of the neighbors had one of these gigantic inflatable water slides, and I don't know how high it was, but it was pretty intense. So the kids are on it. They're firing themselves down this thing. They're having a blast. And it looked like a lot of fun. So, of course, I couldn't help myself. I climbed up the thing that I am clearly too big to fit in, but fired myself down this thing quite a few times. But on one of the runs down, I didn't make it all the way to the pool at the end, the retaining pool that you're supposed to land in. So I got about halfway down the landing strip, and because I didn't hit that pool, I decided that I would do a little sprint without wiping out and slide, like a slip and slide, into that pool. However, what I did not fully appreciate is how fast or big I am, and I ended up crashing into the back of that pool, and unfortunately, my nose hit a Velcro strip. So now I got a little boo-boo on my nose, but I'll be all right. It's I've had much worse 5th of July injuries in the past, but thankfully those days are behind me. Unless that story is totally made up, and really I just got into a fight with one of the neighbors about parking on 4th of July, but you get to decide which of those stories is true, but spoiler alert, it's the first one. What I did want to talk about today is something completely different. It's about scammers. And recently I had an experience where someone I know was scammed. And when people are defrauded, first of all, I hate criminals. I hate crime, right? Not a big fan of criminals, but I also recognize that people have a past and they can be rehabilitated and certainly turn their lives around. So no judgment around those who have potentially done shady things in the past. I'm certainly no saint, but eventually, hopefully you grow out of it, you learn, and you do better, right? So that's just the gift of maturity, I would say, and growing up. But I really take offense. I get really angry when especially elderly people are taken advantage of. Really makes my blood boil, really makes me angry, and I hate when that happens. But I never expected that I would be exposed to this story because somebody that I know that I think should know better was scammed, and they were hurt significantly by it. Now, I think I've told this story before. I'm pivoting a little bit. It will all tie in together, so please stay tuned. But when I was a stockbroker, way back in the day, during the great financial crisis, when Bernie Madoff was being exposed for the Ponzi scheme fraudster that he was, I met with some clients who wanted to transfer their account to me. And they believed they had, I don't exactly remember the numbers, but something close to anywhere between $6 and $10 million of liquid assets in this account. And they raved about how well those assets performed, or those financial instruments performed. They raved about what a great experience it was, but they could tell something was off, something was amiss, and they just were no longer comfortable there. They wanted to transfer that account to me. And they could not remember who their financial advisor was or what the firm was or lots of different things. So I asked them at the time to, this is before email and stuff like that, fax me a copy of their account statement so I can review it. And when I did, and the fax came in, what I learned was that they had an account with Madoff, and the $6 to $10 million that they thought they had, and they believed they did, that did not exist anymore. All of their assets, all of that account was now down to zero. No more money. They were completely blown up. They were completely devastated by this fraud, by this Ponzi scheme, and they also refused to believe that it was true. So I had the unfortunate burden, but responsibility to share with them the truth, which is that I'm really sorry to tell you this, but your account that you thought was worth millions of dollars is worth nothing. And it was a hard phone call, and they were very, very upset. I was very, very upset. Anytime anybody suffers a loss like that, and I don't know if this is a benefit, I don't know if this is a pro or con of my personality, but I'm very, sometimes I almost feel like I'm empathic. I was crying right along with them. The last thing, I mean, I could just very easily see them as my own parents. Like the last thing I would ever want anybody to experience in their later years is financial devastation. And that was their story. That happened. It sucked. But the story that happened today, or the experience that happened today, reminded me of it, which is I spoke to, let's just call it a friend. And this friend, for a while now, has been talking about their intent to move to Florida. And they're super excited about it. And they've been talking about it for years. And I don't typically pry into people's business unless they ask me to. Like, I'm not going to do a deep dive or insert myself in a way that is not appropriate unless they ask me to. But they just went on and on about their dream of selling their home in California and moving to Florida. And I didn't know them well enough. I mean, I know them for a while, but I didn't think of them as having a significant amount of money. I did not think of them as having a big home to sell, which would allow them to be able to buy this big home in Florida that they keep talking about. But I kind of just indulged them because I do respect my elders and I enjoy talking to them. But for years, they went on and on about this house that they're going to buy, their dream home. It's going to have all these different, the home they had in mind was something like 6,000 to 7,000 square feet on several acres with a gigantic pool and an unbelievable backyard and all the bells and whistles you could want from a new home. And the landscaping, I mean, they were very detailed in what they wanted. In this dream home that they had, what turned out to be a fantasy of what they thought their golden years were going to be. But because they know I'm in real estate, I let them know what those types of homes cost. And they did not seem to think that was going to be a problem, so I didn't really question them any further. So I indulged their fantasy, and it was all good. But recently, they got more serious about wanting to move forward with purchasing a home, and they actually found one that they wanted to buy. So they called me up, and they gave me the address, and they said, "Chris, we're ready to buy this home." So I asked the next reasonable question, which is, how do you intend to pay for this home? And his response was, "I've got plenty of cash." I said, "That's great. Congratulations. Send me proof of funds." And I thought that might be the end of the conversation, but it wasn't. Shortly thereafter, I received an email from him with his proof of funds. And this is where the story really goes parabolic as far as my anger and resentment and fury at the scumbag who did this to him, but also made me question his sanity and also his wherewithal, because mentally I don't know how sharp this guy is anymore. But it was revealed to me, right? So I asked for proof of funds. He sent them. I got an email which had an attachment which said proof of funds. And then I got a text saying, "Hey, check your email because proof of funds are there." And when I looked at the proof of funds, what I learned and what I saw was a document that looked like it was put together by one of my daughters. It looked like it was put together by a kindergartner. It had, this was such a rudimentary, Bush League, ridiculous document that immediately, without reading anything, I just looked at it and I'm like, well, this is not real. But then I went to read what it said, and it proceeded to inform me, or anybody else who was reading the letter, that the recipient of this letter is in possession of, I don't know, 50 to $100 million worth of gold bars that are stored securely in Zurich. And, and so, oh God, so I read this letter, and I don't know how many of you have received these ridiculous Nigerian scam letters or these Ghana scam letters or who knows where they're from scam letters. But if you're willing to proceed forward, they're going to tell you that you need to pay some form of taxes or some sort of, you've got to pay them a small fee to unlock this fortune of gold bars or crypto or whatever it is that they're promising you. But it was to the tunes of millions of dollars. And immediately I knew this was a scam. Immediately I knew this was not real. And immediately I knew, I think my friend may have paid them for this privilege of this scam. And they've been basing their entire future, their entire rest of their life on this windfall that's never going to come. And so that sucks. And I'm certainly not happy about that. But I also then had the misfortune of having to let them know, hey, just so you know, this is not real. This is not proof of funds. This is a scam. Just Google the title of this proof of funds, and you'll quickly learn that this has been prevalent and debunked many, many years ago. But I hope you didn't send them money, because if you did, well, you're never getting that money back. But worse off, that the money that they lost is painful, but the dream that they lost is far more painful. And so I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for them, but I'm also mystified because I can't believe anybody would be that gullible or stupid to fall for one of these scams. And honestly, I don't even think it has anything to do with gullibility or stupidity. I think it has a lot to do with many people who are uncertain or afraid and diminished in mental capacity can be manipulated and scammed. And it makes me sick. And that's what I think happened, because I do believe this person at one point was sharp as a tack, and now that's obviously not the case. But they're out whatever they paid for the taxes or fees associated with these gold bullion, or I don't even know what it was, doesn't matter. But the fortune that they thought they had, the lifestyle they thought they were going to live, the dream home that they thought they were going to get to enjoy for the rest of their life, does not exist. And that really sucks. So be on the lookout. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Do your research, do your due diligence. If you don't know if something's a scam, well then send me an email and I'll help you debunk it. Just Google whatever the title of the thing is. It's almost always going to be a scam, but I don't want anybody else to be negatively impacted by this, so figured I would share it. It's never fun to be the bearer of bad news, but I certainly don't want this to be perpetuated on anybody else moving forward. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, found value. If you did, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend. Just know, if nobody's told you today that they love you, I do, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.